F123 is the first time we get to see the new Las Vegas track in all of its glory. And it sure is a visual treat to race around this circuit at night. However, that's kind of where the fun stops, as this is a track layout that doesn't do anything for me. It's a pretty standard street track, although it lacks the fluidity of Jeddah and Miami or the technicality of Singapore. And I think it results in a pretty uninspired track layout, which is a real shame. The main focus around Las Vegas and F123 is, without a doubt, straight line speed, with the incredibly long straight that runs right through the Las Vegas Strip. Because of this long straight and other longer straights on the track, you can't run much downforce at all, which will result in the slower corners feeling a little bit clunky. I've set my aero to 10 at the front and 9 at the rear, and this is a good trade-off between adding as much front-end responsiveness and turning as we can get away with, as well as keeping the rear of the car stable through the faster bends. The priority with our transmission car setup is to maximise our traction, enabling for the best corner exit out of the slower corners and onto all of those long straights. This means going with 50% on throttle and off throttle is really our only choice. The low off throttle diff also helps mitigate the low aero setup by improving our rotation into the slow corners. Again, with the track focused almost entirely on straight line speed, a low camber and toe setup is the best approach. Set the camber to -2.5 and -1, and set the toe to 0 and 0.1 to reduce drag as much as possible. The rear camber set to -1 also brings more of the tyre into contact with the track, which does go a bit towards helping traction a little bit. For the suspension, I've opted for a stiffer approach than at most tracks in F123. I've gone for 29 and 9 on the suspension setup, which is fairly normal. However, I've then stiffened the anti-roll bars right up to 14 and 11. This will improve our mechanical grip mid-corner by eliminating body roll as much as possible. Finally, set your ride height to 32 and 36. For the brakes, go the frontward brake bias to help reduce braking distance into the slow corners, to go with 56% bias and 100% pressure. Finally, for the tyres, you'll want to increase the pressures right up. The extremely long straights really allow for the tyres to cool down in between each corner. This allows us to set our tyre pressures high to get the heat into the tyres. Go 24.2 psi on both front tyres and 21.3 psi on both rear tyres. The rear tyres will get much more of a workout compared to the fronts, so they can be much lower. And that will complete our first ever car setup for Las Vegas in a Formula 1 game. As I mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of this track currently. Maybe it will turn into a grower and less of a shower, and hopefully I'll learn to love this track. But regardless of enjoyment, this car setup does create a particularly competitive car throughout a race with extremely high straight line performance, allowing for many overtaking opportunities. Please let me know in the comments below whether you're a fan of this track or if you're a little bit like me and don't really like it too much. But for now, enjoy this setup and I will see you on track.